Hi children, how are you all? Hope all are doing good. So welcome back to new session. So in the previous session we studied about why do we fall ill, how the diseases are caused, how we have to take care and different types of diseases. We discussed about all those things. So today we'll have a new chapter, a new concept, that is natural resources. Natural resources means, what is meant by natural resources? Natural resources are the resources which are provided by the nature. They are called as natural resources. Then what is meant by resources? Resources are nothing but the things or the materials which satisfy our daily needs are called as resources. Okay, now let us see what are the concepts we are going to complete in this particular chapter. Let us see. So at the end of the lesson we learn about, understand the breath of life, that is air, and find out the role of atmospheric climatic control, understand the movement of air, that is wind, understand the rain, understand air pollution, find out properties of water, wonder liquid, understand the water pollution, even air pollution also. These all the concepts will be covered in this particular chapter. Yes, we all very well know that air is a mixture of gases, different types of gases: nitrogen, oxygen, carbon dioxide and water vapor. So due to this mixture, different types of air is mixed in the gases are mixed in the air. It is a mixture of gases air. So the life on the earth is possible. So we all know that air is a mixture of nitrogen, oxygen, carbon dioxide, water vapor. So due to this mixture, the life on the earth is possible. Earth's surface is dominated by nitrogen dioxide, nitrogen, oxygen. So nitrogen is 78%, oxygen is 21%, carbon dioxide and the gases 0.03%, inert gases argon 0.93% and water vapor 0.01%. These all the components are present in the environment. So as the mixture of gases are mixed in the air, combination of air, the air facilitate a better life on the earth. So the breath of life. We all know that air is a mixture of nitrogen, oxygen, carbon dioxide. So you can see here the percentile of oxygen, nitrogen, carbon dioxide. So these are the mixture of gases present in the air. Let us see what is meant by biosphere. Bio means life. A sphere means it is a layer in the atmosphere. So the important natural resource available on earth and land, water and air. The region of the earth where the atmosphere, hydrosphere and lithosphere interact and support the life is called biosphere. So where there is an interaction between the atmosphere, hydrosphere, lithosphere, they interact together and they will support to the life, that are called as biosphere. Living organisms constitute the biotic components. What are biotic components? Bio means living. Living components. So living organisms constitute the biotic components of biosphere. Air, water and soil constitute the abiotic components of biosphere. So air is mixture of gases like nitrogen, oxygen and carbon dioxide. Let us see the breath of life. Air is a breath of life. Can you live without breathing, children? Once observe yourself. Tightly close your nose and mouth and count the minutes or the seconds. How many seconds you can? Approximately 45 to 50 seconds only we could able to live without air. We feel lot of suffocated. Once you try, tight your mouth and the nose. and stay without breathing, without taking air. It supports you only for 45 to 50 seconds, hardly 1 minute. So, air is a breath of life. Plants and animals use oxygen for respiration. So, plants use the oxygen. Generally, the people used to say plants take inside carbon dioxide and they release oxygen. Yeah, you are right. But in case of respiration, as like human beings, plants also take inside oxygen. They leave out the carbon dioxide. But during the process of photosynthesis, preparation of food substances, during the process of photosynthesis, the plants take inside carbon dioxide, they liberate the oxygen. Okay, so here the plants and the animals use oxygen for respiration. The combustion of fossil fuels also require oxygen for the combustion, for burning purpose. To combustion also the oxygen is needed. So all the earth living organisms and fire burning, you can see the pictures, they all need the air. The ways by which carbon dioxide fixed by the living organisms. Plants use carbon dioxide for the process of photosynthesis. For the respiration, they use the oxygen. Okay. Marine animals absorb atmospheric carbon dioxide and form carbonic acid. So, they absorb the carbon dioxide and they form the carbonic acid. So, these carbonate ions are used by marine animals to make their shells. The shells are made up of calcareous shells, no? In diversity in living organisms, we discussed about the phylum mollusca, no? The body is covered with the shell. The shells are calcareous shells which are made by calcium carbonate. How this calcium carbonate is formed? Is formed by the carbon. So atmospheric animals, marine animals, they collect the carbon dioxide and they convert it to a calcium carbonate as their shells, and these shells they provide protection to the body of these organisms. We already know the living organisms may be eukaryotic cells or a prokaryotic cells. What are eukaryotes and what are prokaryotes, children? Eukaryotes means the cell which is consists of well-defined nucleus. Well-defined nucleus means the nucleus is enclosed by the nuclear membrane. Okay. And membrane bound cell organelles are present in the cell. Prokaryotes means prokaryotes are the cell is not well defined. The nucleus is not well defined. That means no presence of nuclear membrane, and even a cell organelles are not membrane bound cell organelles. So the cells need oxygen to break down glucose molecules and get energy for their activities. They have to break the glucose molecule. From where this glucose came? The food which we eat, the carbohydrates which we eat, they digested and they will be converted into a glucose. So they break down the glucose. When the glucose is break down and mixed with the oxygen, the energy is released. Nothing but that process is called as respiration. Okay. So energy of their activities. So these energy is needed to survive their lives, to maintain their life activities. These result in the production of carbon dioxide. So one more process which results in the consumption of oxygen and the production of carbon dioxide is combustion, which is either result of human activities or the forest fires. So these oxygen is mostly useful for the combustion also. Respiration, energy production, that means breaking down of glucose and converting the glucose into energy. For that purpose and also for the combustion also, the oxygen is needed. Although carbon dioxide is produced in a huge amount by various activities, even then the process of carbon dioxide in our atmosphere is mere fraction of a percent. So this fixed percentage of carbon is because carbon dioxide is fixed in two ways. First is green plants take and they convert the carbon dioxide into carbohydrates. They are nothing but glucose. In this process of sunlight and the chlorophyll, and second is many, in the first process the chlorophyll convert the sunlight and it helps to convert the carbon dioxide into carbohydrates. And second is many marine animals use carbonates dissolve in the seawater to make their shells. So previously we discussed, no, marine animals also fix the carbon and convert them into a calcareous shells. So we have already discussed that atmosphere covers the earth like a blanket. We also know that air is a bad conductor of heat. It doesn't conduct. So air is the bad conductor of the heat. You know, no? If air is around us, we feel very cool. It doesn't give place for the heat. So air cannot catch the heat. So air is a bad conductor of the heat. The atmosphere prevents the sudden increase in a temperature during the daily light hours. Okay. So the atmosphere keeps the average temperature of the earth fairly steady during the day and even during the sources of the whole year. Always. Okay. And during the night, it slows down the escape of the heat into outer space. Earth and moon both are about the same distance from the sun, earth and moon. Okay. But on the moon with an atmosphere, the temperature ranges for 190 degrees centigrade to 110 degrees centigrade. The ways we discuss this. How is our atmosphere different from the atmosphere on Venus and Mars? The atmosphere is different from our on Earth to the other areas. Not much needed. So, how the movement of air takes place? How many of you have visited seashore? Generally, we used to go for seashores, no? Beaches, no? You all might have felt cool evening breezes and relief brought by the breeze after hot day. So throughout the day, if it is a very hot, when we reach us to the seashore, we feel very cool, no? Yes. Similarly, when there is a rainfall after hot weathers, when we get a greater relief. Even when the rain falls also, we used to feel very cool and very relief. Nowadays, we are having a good rains, no? For these rains, we used to feel very cool. In summer, it will be very hot. After very soon, summer completed, we will enter into the rainy season. So, in the rainy season, we feel very cool ourselves, no? Very relaxed and very cool. The movement of air is due to the heating of air, and when there is a water vapors present in air, then it becomes a gentle breeze. So, the movement air is due to the heat of the air, and when there is a water vapor, when the heat appears on the air, the water vapor causes in the air, it becomes as a gentle breeze. So the water vapor mixes with the air. When the air is moving towards, the water vapor and the air mix together and it causes as a cool breeze. Okay. Water vapor is formed due to the heating of water bodies and the activities of living organisms. How the water vapor is causing? Due to the heating. When the sunlight falls on the water bodies, they started to evaporation of the water. So the atmosphere can be heated from below by the radiation that is reflected back or radiated by the land or water bodies. On being heated, convection currents are set up in the air. So convection currents, the movements of the air will be set up. When air is heated by radiation from the heat, land or water, it rises, but since the land gets heated faster than the water, because water is always be in a cool state, but the land is a generally very soon it becomes a heated. The air over the land would also be heated faster than air over the water bodies. That's why the land becomes very hot. So if you look at the situation in coastal regions during the day, the air above the land gets heated faster and starts rising. That's why in a coastal regions, the air fastly it will be evaporated. As this air rise, a region of low pressure is created and the air over the sea moves into this area of a low pressure. So the movement of air from one region to another creates the winds. When the air starts to move in from one place to another, they causes the winds. During the day, the direction of wind would be from the sea to the land. So during the daytime, the way of the winds travel from the sea level to the land level. At night, both land and sea start to cool. When it becomes a night, both land and seas also becomes a cool due to no temperature. Sunlight is not there, no. Since water cools down slower than the land and the air above water would be warmer than the air above the land. So when you compare here, the land becomes very cool very soon. When compare, the water becomes very cool. So the water on the sea becomes cool. It takes some time when compare on the land. All the movements of air results in diverse atmospheric phenomena are caused by the uneven heating of atmosphere in different regions of the earth. In all the areas of the earth is not same atmosphere is there. So the temperature also differs from the place to place. Some other factors which also influence these winds are the rotation of earth and the presence of mountain regions in the paths of the winds. Coming to air pollution. These days, pollution word is very common. But what does this mean? Pollution is any undesirable change in physical, chemical properties of our environment, air, water, land, which causes harmful effects of various forms of life and the property. So, many contaminations, unwanted materials are added into the environment, it causes as a pollution. When this pollution is caused, all the living animals, either in the water, in the land, any area, they causes different types of the problems due to the causing of air pollution. While a pollutant is a substance, a chemical or a factor that released to environment has a bad effect on human interest. So any change takes place in the environment, it causes a bad effect. Pollutant means which cause a pollution. Pollutant can be defined as a constituent in a wrong amount at a wrong place or a wrong time. So it is a wrong amount at the wrong place at the wrong time. Completely it is a wrong thing which is adding in a perfect manner. In the perfectly things. That is nothing but is a pollution. Air pollution is occurrence of foreign particle gases in the atmosphere which are harmful man, vegetation, animals and buildings. So air pollution is occurs in the foreign particles. All newly particles or gases in the atmosphere which are they causes a harm to the vegetation means plants, animals and all the even constructions that are the buildings. The air pollution is caused mainly due to the combustion of fossil fuels. Lot of smoke will be released by combustion of fossil fuels. So automatically air pollution will be caused. The fossils like coal and petroleum contain small amount of nitrogen and sulfur. When these fuels are burnt, nitrogen and sulfur are burnt and produce different oxides of nitrogen and sulfur. So not only is the inhalation of the gases dangerous, they also dissolve in a rain to give a rise to the acid rains. So the factories and the industries, they release a lot of amount of nitrogen and sulfur gases. So in the atmosphere, oxygen, this nitrogen and sulfur, they mixed with the oxygen in the atmosphere and they causes nitrogen dioxide, sulfur dioxide. These gases will be mixed into the rain and the rain becomes as a acid rain. These acid rains are severely damage to the environment, even to the organisms. Combustion of fossil fuels increase the amount of suspended particles in the air. These particles may be unburned, can be particles or substances like hydrocarbons. So these all causes different types of diseases for the human life. So how the winds will be caused? The movement of air on region to another creates wind. When the air moves from one region to another. An uneven heating of the earth's surface causes winds. Uneven heating of the earth's surface. So all the areas of earth will not be equally heated. Okay, that means of the earth's surface causes a winds on being heated. Air becomes lighter and rise up. As a result, a region of a low pressure is created. Then air from the high pressure region moves to the low pressure, and they causes the wind from a high pressure of the air to the low pressure air, and they will causes the winds. Air is a bad conductor of the heat. Take an empty long test tube, hold the test tube tighter with its mouth downwards. Okay, heat the tube at its bottom on the flame of a candle. So it is noticed that the fingers do not feel warm. This shows that the air trapped in the test tube does not conduct the heat from the heated bottom of the test tube to the fingers. This proves that air is bad conductor of the heat. The movement of winds. When air gets heated, it rises up and produces low pressure, and cool air moves into take a place. So the movement of air causes the winds. During the day, the land gets heated faster than the sea. So the hot air above the land rises up and cool. And cool air from the sea moves towards the land. So during the night, sea cools down slowly than the land. So the hot air above the sea rises up and cool air from the land moves towards the sea. So you can see the picture how the air is moving daytime. So from the atmosphere, cool air, and the warm air from the land. In the night time, so warm air from the ocean to the atmosphere, and from the atmosphere to the water, the cool air. Here you can see that traveling of the air. Wind develops as a result of spatial differences in atmospheric pressure. Generally, these differences occurs because of uneven absorption of a solar radiation at the atmosphere. So the winds causes by the uneven movements. Okay, uneven movement currents of the air. Air pollution, its effects. The increase in the content of harmful substances in the air is called as air pollution. Fossil fuels like coal and petroleum contain small amounts of nitrogen and sulfur. When these fuels are burned, it releases oxides of a sulfur and nitrogen. So these oxides dissolve in a rain and causes the acid rain. What is a smog? Burning of fossil fuels also release unburned carbon particles. Unburned carbon particles, that means like a smoke, which reduce visibility during the cold weather. Along with the condensed water, it forms as the smog. You can see here the difference. City without smog, it is like a clear appearance is there. City with the smog, see, we cannot even see well the city. Yes or no? That is. Health disorders because of air pollution. Regular breathing air containing these harmful substances causes allergy, cancer, diseases, etc. These all causes are different types. Lung diseases, most probably they will affect the lung diseases. As the air directly enters into the lungs will be affected. So when the air get to be polluted, like allergies, cancer, even cancer also will be caused, and heart diseases. These all caused by the air pollution. Next one, how can you prevent this air pollution? We can prevent this air pollution by reducing the industrialization. We have to reduce the industrialization, reduce the usage of fossil fuels. So when we reduce, or we can make use of the fossil fuel, friendly fossil fuels, which doesn't release a smoke or a more content of polluted particles. So next one is the rain. Water bodies get heated during the day and evaporate into air. As the vapor rises, it cools. This causes the vapor to condense in the tiny water bodies which fall down as a rain. We know very well. At the 5th class level only you used to learn about a water cycle, no? How the rains will be caused? When the temperature increases on the water bodies, the water will be evaporated from the water bodies, and this water vapor cools down the clouds and they condense. Again they will become in the form of a rain. So this rain fills again water bodies. Again water bodies will be evaporated. It is a cyclic manner. In this manner, when the water bodies are cooled down and they get evaporated into the atmosphere, again they will turn into the form of a rain. Again it is a cyclic process which causes the rain. That is nothing but we call it as a water cycle. We all know that the warm, moist and rising air cools and forms the clouds in the sky. So we can see that cloud formation is caused due to heating of water bodies during a daytime, which get mixed with the atmosphere. The evaporated water mixed with the atmosphere. So when the hot air rises, it expands and cools air in the atmosphere towards the ground. So due to the cooling of water vapor present in the air, that shape of the small droplets. So when the water becomes into cool, that changes or turns into the small water droplets, and they will fall in the form of a rain. So dust particles present in the air act as a nucleus, and the process of condensation started. So these droplets become larger and larger due to the continuous process of condensation. As when the condensation takes place, so here you can see that the water droplets become as a large and they fall in the form of a rain. So when these clouds become heavy, they fall down in the form of a rain. Sometimes when the temperature of air is low enough, precipitation may occur in the form of a snow, sleets, in a hail. So rainfall patterns are decided by the prevailing water patterns. In a large parts of India, rains are mostly brought by the southwest or the northeast monsoon. So we often hear whether the reports that say that depression in the Bay of Bengal. We used to know, hear the news, no, which they used to cause rains, no, depression in the Bay of Bengal have caused rains is more areas. We used to hear all these things. Okay, so this is a weathercasting news. So water is a wonderful liquid. Why it is a wonderful liquid? Water occupies a very large area of Earth's surface and also found under the ground. Some amount of water exists in the form of water vapor in the atmosphere. 97% of water on the Earth's surface is found in the seas and the oceans and in the salines. So all the organisms are needed the water. 1% of fresh water is found on the earth. 2% of fresh water is found in the frozen condition in the ice caps at the two poles on the snow covered mountains. And the underground water and the water in rivers, lakes, ponds is also is a fresh water. The availability of a fresh water varies from the place to place. Yes, we doesn't find the availability of water is the same in all the areas. During summer season, most places have to face the shortage of water. If it becomes as a sea, the land becomes dried, and the people suffer with the scarcity of the water. Let us see what is the importance of water. Water is necessary because all organisms require it. All cellular processes takes place in the water medium. Cellular process means digestion, respiration, transportation, everything. The cell which participate all the activities, synthesizing food substances, digesting, respiration, all these cellular activities. In order to do these cellular activities, water is must. It is needed, compulsory needed. All the reactions that takes place within our body and within the cells occur between the substances that are dissolved in the water. Maximum of the substances will be dissolved in the water. That's why water is a wonder liquid. It is a universal solvent. Water can able to dissolve maximum all the substances except oil. No, it doesn't dissolve the oil in the oils like kerosene, petroleum, vegetable oils, curry oils, these different oils, they won't dissolve in the water. Fat substances will not dissolve. Rather than all other substances will dissolve in the water. So that's why the water is called as universal. And also it is a wonder liquid. We used to find everywhere. And for all the needs of our daily life, they are needed. Okay. So importance of water. Water is required for the transportation of substances from one part of the body to other in a dissolved medium. The water facilitates transportation of nutrients. Hence, organisms require to maintain the level of water with their bodies in order to stay alive. That's why you know that daily we should take at least 5 to 6 liters of water because it purifies our body. As for the corona, compulsory it is needed to be taken hot water. Hot water has the capacity to kill the germs in our body, impurities in our body. They will kill the impurities. Maximum many of the diseases will be cured by the hot water. So it is advisable. And nowadays many people they are taking a hot water, it is too hot. Some people thinking if we drink a too hot water also it is so bad to the body. If you take a too hot water, it causes ulcers in the stomach, in your alimentary canal, digestive tract, from the mouth to the anus, all the organs are there. No, mouth, esophagus, stomach, small intestine, large intestine. These all are the parts where the water travels through. So they will be burnt. When they burn, automatically they causes in the form of ulcer. So I advise you don't have a too hot water. Normal hot water, which is you are able to normally able to drink the hot condition. That is good for your health. Okay. So now let us see more importance of water. Terrestrial life forms require fresh water for this because their bodies cannot tolerate or get rid of the high amounts of dissolved salts in the saline water. Terrestrial animals cannot able to withstand in the saline water. If you take the plants, we used to find growth of the plants near the rivers and the lakes and the ponds, but we doesn't find the growth of the plants at the areas of the seashores and the oceans because the water is completely saline, which is completely having a rich content of salt. We doesn't pour salt water to the plants, no, they cannot live. If you pour, they will die. Excessive salts are not suitable for the plants. normal water should be given. So thus water sources needed to be easily accessible for animals and plants to survive on the land. For the plants and animals also it is needed. As like air, even the water also causing to be a polluted. Let us see. Water pollution is the addition of some substances with the degraded the quality of water so that either it becomes as unfit for a use. So qualityless water. When undissolvable materials, unnecessary materials, useless materials are mixed with the water, water becomes as a polluted and it is not fit for the usage of our daily lives. So the fertilizers and the pesticides that we use on our farmers are dissolved in the water. So some percent of these substances are washed into the water bodies. When we added the fertilizers, why we used to give the fertilizers? For a better growth of the plants, yes or no? So when you give a fresh water, good water to the crop plants, we used to add the fertilizers for a better growth of the plants. Some non-biodegradable chemicals will be remain on the soil. They will be mixed into the water. They won't dissolve. They will be mixed into the water. So due to the rains float of the water, these water will be mixed into the fresh water bodies. When they mixed into the fresh water bodies, automatically the water is rich with the fertilizers. So the water bodies again started to grow the plants. That condition we used to call as eutrophication. If algae is grown more amount on the surface layers of the water, that we call as a algal bloom. So due to the application of much content of nutrients from the agricultural land to the water bodies, automatically the top layers of the water fills with the growth of the plants and the algae. So if the growth of the plants, we call it as a eutrophication. If you see the growth of the algae, that is called as a algal bloom. So the surface area of the water bodies fills with these plants and the algae. What happened? Transportation of air is very difficult. Transportation of temperature is very difficult. So the aquatic organisms which are present in the water bodies, they becomes very suffocated. They suffocated and they causes to the death. So this is causes a lot of pollution to the organisms. Ultimately the organisms causes to the death. Sewage from the towns and the cities and the waste from the factories are also dumped into the rivers or the lakes. In some countries, most of the people, they used to throw the waste into the water bodies. They used to dump the sewage water, drainage water. When this water leaks to the fresh water bodies, all the chemicals in the factories or the industries or drainages, they will mixed into the fresh water. Ultimately, the water becomes as a polluted, and even it is not useful for the purpose of drinking. Some industries also use water for cooling in various operations and later return this hot water to the water bodies. So through the industries also they release a hot water. The water bodies having a normal temperature in the water bodies. If the temperature is increased due to this hot water in the water bodies, what happen? Organisms unable to withstand with the hot water. That hot condition, no, the organisms will die. The temperature of the water in a rivers can be affected when the water is released from the dams. So when the water released from the dams also, the water temperature also will be differs. At the time also, the life in the water will be fluctuated. Life in the water means aquatic organisms temperature unable to withstand to that temperature and they may affect it. So the water inside the deep reservoirs would be colder than the water at the surface, which gets heated by the sun. All this can affect the life forms that are found in the water bodies in various ways. Always the temperature in the water bodies is not same. When the temperature is changing in the environmental conditions, automatically the fluctuations will be the fluctuation in the temperature in aquatic regions will take place, no? When the drastic changes are taking place, organisms feel very difficult to survive by themselves. At those times, aquatic organisms causes death. it can encourage the growth of some life forms and harm for the some other life forms. This affects the balance between the various organisms which had been established in their system. So if some particular organisms are living in a particular environment, they'll have a one level of living condition. So when the fluctuations are taking place, some are able to adapt to the fluctuations and some are unable to adapt. So the organisms which are unable to adapt to that fluctuations, they will die. Automatically, if the death rate is increased into the particular environment, the ecological imbalance will be takes place. Due to that ecological imbalance, the remaining organisms also unable to survive in the particular areas. So water pollution can also follow these effects. The addition of undesirable substances to the water bodies, unwanted substances added into the water bodies. These could also be the disease causing organisms. They can cause the disease causing adding of disease causing organisms like the bacteria which causes a cholera. The removal of desirable substances from the water bodies. Any changes that reduce the amount of dissolved oxygen would adversely affect the aquatic organisms. So due to the algal bloom, water pollution, eutrophication conditions, oxygen demand decreases. Oxygen level will be decreased in the water bodies. If you are unable to breathe, we will die, if you are not respiring. If the breath level is differ in the aquatic regions also, the organisms causes a suffocated and they will die. Other nutrients could also be depleted from the water bodies, a change in a temperature. These all causes a water pollution. Aquatic organisms are used to certain range of temperature in the water body, so they live and sudden marked changes in this temperature would be dangerous for them and affect the breeding. So when sudden changes are taking place in the environment, of certain environment in the aquatic regions, organism stops to reproduce. They'll stop the breeding. So the eggs and the larvae of various animals are particularly susceptible to temperature changes. So to certain temperature, the eggs will be hatched. So if the temperature is changed, normal temperature is changed, it becomes very difficult for the hatching of the eggs. So no breeding will be takes place. Importance of water in living. Organisms need water because it plays a vital role in the reaction taking place within the organism's cell and a body. So water is compulsory, is needed for the reactions which takes place in each and every cell of the every organism's body. Water acts as a universal solvent, providing a medium for the chemical reactions to occur. And substances are also transported from one part of the body to other in the dissolved state. So therefore it is necessary for the organisms to maintain a certain level of water within their bodies in order to stay alive. They should maintain a proper temperature to maintain alive. Causes of water pollution: the dissolved fertilizers, chemicals, pesticides, percolated with the rainwater from the fields, waste from the industries, breeding of decomposers or microorganisms in water. The major sources are causing the water pollution. So how can we reduce the water pollution? So most probably the industries, they should, when they are releasing water into the natural water bodies, they should be treated, and safe water has to be released into the water bodies. And also we used to dump all the materials in the water. We should stop to dump the waste substances into the water, and we should reduce the chemical fertilizers. Maximum try to use the natural fertilizers which are helpful. So what are the situations are in our hand to maintain in a better manner? We should take care of that. Okay, so now up to now we discussed about air pollution and water pollution. Another pollution we have, that is a soil pollution. First let us see how the soil is formed. Soil is formed by the breaking down of rocks at or near the surface of the earth through various physical, chemical and biological processes by various factors such as the sun, water, wind and living organisms. First, see the sun. During the daytime, the rocks are heated. This causes the rocks to expand. When the temperature is increased, for the increasing of temperature, they will be expanded. During night times, these rocks cool down and contract. So, when they are expanded, they will increase the size, and when it is a cool environment, it will be contract. Since all parts of the rock do not undergo expansion and contraction at the same rate, this causes the formation of cracks in these rocks. So these cracks leads to the breakdown of the huge rocks into the small pieces. So all the area of the rock doesn't catch a same type of a temperature. So the area which catches high temperature, they will be expand, and when it becomes a night, they will be cool down and they will be contract. So the area of the rock which doesn't catch much heat, they will not expand and no contraction. So these alternate expansion and contraction causes automatically what happen, it will be broken. If you take any hard substances and if you do like this, after for some time it will be broken. At the same manner, the rocks will be, due to the high temperature they will expand, due to the low temperature they will be contracted. So alternate contraction and relaxation, the rocks become broken and they will be formed into a small pieces of soil. Now let us see water. Water catalyzes the process of formation of a soil in two ways. Water goes into the cracks and surface from the rocks. When this water freezes, its volume increases. As a result, the size of the crack also increases. This helps the weathering of the rock. So when water enters into the rocks, you can see in the picture, into the cracks, when water is applied at the rocks region when the rains are fall. So at that time the water will be saved at that place. Later on it becomes as a freezing. Due to that condition, again the volume will be increased. Ultimately when the freezing condition is reduced, the volume is decreased. Automatically we can find the crackers in the rocks. Next, running water wear away hard rocks over the long period of a time. Water moving in fast speed carries big and small particles of the cracked down streams. These rocks rub against of each other, resulting in the breaking down of the rocks. These smaller particles are carried away by running water and deposited down the paths. No, what is the hard condition of water transportation? The water travels very fast. Even nowadays, if you see when the floods are causing, they are wiping out of the cars. Not only cars, buses, lorries, though they are too much heavy also, the force of the water is more greater than these vehicles. So when the water flows very fast, at the time the rubbing or the pressure which is causing on the rocks causes the breaking down of the rock. So due to that also soil is forming. How the soil forms? By the wind. Strong winds carry away the rocks, which causes a rubbing of rocks. This results in the breaking down of the rocks into the smaller and smaller particles. When heavy winds causes also, they fall off. No, when the big rocks will be fall down, and automatically they causes into the soil. Living organism. Some living organisms like lichens. What is a lichen? Growth, combined growth of algae and fungus. Okay, fungus is a decomposer. No, lichens help in the formation of a soil. Lichens also grow on rocks. During growth, lichens releases a certain substances which causes the rock surface to powder down forming, and the rock surface to powder down, forming thin layer of the soil. On this thin layer of the soil, some small plants like moss also grow. They further causes the breaking down of the rocks. So when these algae and fungus causes a decomposition, when it causes a decomposition also, it causes a fall of the rocks. All these fall of the rocks causes the soil, formation of the soil, thin particles layer of the soil. Living organisms. Some living organisms like lichens helps in the plants formation. You see here, no? This is a lichens. They form as a lichens and they cause a decomposition, and they form a very thin layer of the soil. They will be drawn from the rocks and they form into a soil. How the living organisms depending on the soil. The top surface layer of the earth capable of supporting plant life is called soil. The top surface. Okay. Soil is completely mixture comprising of minerals, 45% of minerals, organic matter, 5% of water, 25% of air, 25% of living organisms. So it is an important source that determines the diversity of life and area. So this availability determines the different types of animals present in the particular lands. Plants are dependent on the soil from where they obtain various types of minerals. Plants will depend for the minerals on the soil, water and the air. Even water and air also. All these three components are essential for the growth of a plant. Soil, air and water. These three components are facilitate the better growth of the plants. Animals, herbivores depend on the plants for the food. So animals depends on the food. Maximum herbivores, they depend on the plants for their food. So these plants depend on the soil. If there is no soil, plants doesn't grow. If the plants doesn't grow, there is no food for the herbivorous animals. Other organisms like carnivores, if there is no herbivores, there is no carnivorous animals. Depend on these herbivores. Hence, all the living organisms directly or indirectly, they will depending on the soil. So aquatic organisms are not entirely independent of the soil as a resource. Microscopic decomposers like fungus, archaebacteria and bacteria present in the bottom sediments of the water bodies and decompose dead and decaying organic matter into a simple inorganic substances like minerals. The later get dissolved in the water and are available as nutrients for the aquatic plants, and they indirectly through the plants to animals. Also, water bodies gets supply of minerals from the soil through the rivers, springs, etc. Without which minerals present in the water bodies will exhaust aquatic organisms. Aquatic green plants and the animals get these minerals from the water. So the minerals will formed in the water, they will be taken up by the aquatic plants. Let us see composition of the soil. Soil is a mixture of rocks, particles, decayed organisms called as a humus. The top layer of the soil is called as a humus. What is a humus? The plant material, waste plant material fallen from the plants. It will be decomposed on the top layer, which are rich content of nutrients. The layer is called as a humus. Living organisms, minerals, air and water. The amount of minerals, humus, air and water are the factors which decides the biodiversity in the area. So the ability of living different types of plants and animals that decide the biodiversity. So even we are causing a pollution to the soil. The addition of harmful substances which affects the fertility of the soil and kills the diversity of organisms living in it is called a soil pollution. So which the soil causes a pollution means which is unable to growth of the plants, fertility, loss of the fertility. Okay, fertility means which is capable of good growth of the plants. Soil pollution is caused by the excessive use of fertilizers and pesticides. It kills the organisms like earthworms and the bacteria, which makes the soil rich in humus. So the removal of useful components and addition of other harmful substances reduce the fertility of the soil and causes the soil pollution. What is soil erosion? The carrying away of a soil from one place to another by flowing of water and wind is called as soil pollution or a soil erosion. See, when heavy winds blows, when heavy rains are falls, the top layer of the soil will be wiped out. No, that condition is called as a soil erosion. Large scale of deforestation also causes the soil erosion. Soil erosion can reduce or prevented by vegetative cover on the ground. So, due to the afforestation, construction of bunds, terrace, dams, etc. These all causes the soil erosion. So, these all are different types of pollutions. And how can we prevent the soil pollution, children? So, we can prevent the soil pollution by reducing causing of dumping the waste into the soil, and we reduce the washed away, wiped away out of the soil. And also generally we used to dig the soil for construction of dams, where when we want to dig the soil for the construction of dams like etc. also lot of amount of soil becoming as a polluted. So we should take care to prevent the soil pollution. So I'll stop this content for this session, children. So I'll give a small activity, that is, once you collect the information about the hazards of the water pollution, what are the different hazards will causes, or by taking a polluted water, what are the diseases we caused due to the water pollution, what are the diseases we used to cause. Collect the information on it. Okay, children, hope you understood very well. Meet you in the next session.